Hi guys, welcome back to Crypto Maways, a channel where we talk about XRP and other cryptocurrency. Today we will talk about the latest updates on lawsuit between SEC versus Ripple. Ripple is now on a limb, according to an investigation, but so is the SEC. So, if you're new, watch till the end, and if you like it, you can hit like and subscribe button, which is completely free. A loss for Ripple could result in the loss of its XRP, whereas a loss for the SEC would erode its credibility. Most lawyers believe the SEC has the upper hand, but are suspicious that it will win out in the end. In more than a dozen interviews, people close to Ripple and securities law experts described SEC versus Ripple as a case that will not only determine the company's fate, but will shape the future of the crypto industry by determining whether cryptocurrencies should be treated like stocks. That question could be answered by a judge as early as this fall. Billions of dollars are at stake if the question is answered correctly. The most important thing that happened with XRP had to do with the CFTC and the SEC, as Gary Gensler obviously gave a speech. But even though he gave that speech last week, a lot of the questions are being raised today, and since the CFTC spoke out and Brad Garlinghouse spoke out, things have gotten a whole layer heavier and a lot more interesting. First and foremost, Jeremy Hogan had inquired earlier whether or not the CFTC, as a summary, wants to intervene in the lawsuit. So, in response to Brian Quinton's response, just to be clear, the SEC has no authority over pure commodities or their trading venues, whether those commodities are wheat, gold, oil, or hash crypto assets. Which is interesting because, as the CFTC commissioner, he basically believes that cryptos are once again commodities or, at the very least, not securities, and so it could be interesting for him to now propose an idea to basically come to Ripple's aid. SEC Chief Gary Gensler says many crypto tokens are securities and fall under the agency's jurisdiction. Many crypto assets are considered securities, according to SEC Chair Gary Gensler, who spoke to CNBC on August 4. His remarks add to the debate over what types of digital assets are considered securities. According to SEC Chair Gary Gensler, many crypto assets are considered securities, which would bring hundreds of coins in the $1.6 million cryptocurrency market under the agency's jurisdiction. If someone is raising money by selling a token and the buyer anticipates profits based on that group's efforts to sponsor the seller, that fits into something that is a security, Gensler explained. I'm not going to go token by token, you can imagine why. But, as my predecessor, Jay Clayton, put it about 3 years ago, he hadn't seen many tokens that didn't pass the securities test. There has been much debate over the years about which types of digital assets are considered securities and thus fall under the purview of the SEC. The Commodity Exchange Act, for example, classifies Bitcoin as a commodity. However, there are thousands of other coins in the ecosystem, and Gensler believes that many of them should be classified as securities for regulatory purposes. The SEC's lawsuit against Ripple is centered on this issue. Ripple claims its XRP token is a commodity and thus immune from regulation, but the SEC claims Ripple conducted an unregistered securities offering. Gensler declined to comment on Ripple when asked by CNBC's Andrew Ross Sorkin about the status of the company. Gensler was the former chairman of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and he believes it is critical that both government agencies collaborate to deal with crypto platforms that trade both securities and commodities. The SEC chairman also encouraged cryptocurrency trading platforms to engage in a frank discussion with the securities regulator. He noted that many people have avoided dealing with the SEC thus far. So, Martin Vaughn wrote a letter to SEC: Dear at SEC Gov, the burden of clarity and communication is always on the communicator. That is the party that is committed to the mutual understanding that must occur in order for effective communication to actually take place. You have a choice. We can settle for a lack of clear, effective and persuasive communication with the other party, or we can take on the responsibility and ensure that what we mean is what is heard. One way to ensure clarity in communication is to be specific. Don't make it any more difficult for the other party to understand what you are saying than is absolutely necessary. John Deaton tweeted, for those who don't know, at Giancarlo MKTS is the former chairman of the CFTC and the man behind the Digital Dollar Project. In a nutshell, he knows what he's talking about. TBW, he has stated that #XRP is not a security and should not be treated differently than #Ether. So Chris said on Twitter. Only one U.S. regulatory agency has experience regulating markets for #Bitcoin and #crypto, and it is not at SEC Gov. It is at CFTC. If #Biden administration is serious about sensible #cryptocurrency regulation, it needs to nominate a CFTC chairman. Another tweet by John Deaton. Hey at Gary Gensler, if there is such clarity in the markets regarding digital assets, why does your former agency feel compelled to speak out? And now even Brad Garlinghouse came out to say, in 2018 Bill Hinman said ETH isn't a security and Jay Clayton agreed. But just weeks ago, Hinman filed a sworn affidavit in court saying the SEC still has not taken any position or expressed a view on ETH's status. So how is the market supposed to have clarity? That's a reply to Michael Arrington, who said, one thing Gensler made clear today, he thinks all of crypto is under his control, and he's eager to expand the power of the SEC. He said the law is clear based on 75 enforcement actions, but seems to be walking back clarity on ETH, at least. All I see is more muddy water. A reply to Frank, who said, Gensler sets SEC sights on DeFi, crypto lending and more in expansive speech on regulation. Let's quickly see. Chris said, hey at Attorney Jeremy 1, any comment on the judge granting BG's request? Do you think this has to do with the rumor of calculating a settlement? #XRP, where Jeremy replied, those motions are routinely granted, so not much to read into that. Everything else I have to take a no comment on until I am out of garage purgatory. And then John Dean once more replying, Gary Gensler said, you and the SEC may very well be technology neutral, but you are not asset neutral, and have favored certain digital assets, #BTC and #Ether, over other digital assets. To be clear, if crypto is to be widely adopted, some rules of the road must be established, as well as a cop on the beat to enforce them. It's not a fair game, in my opinion. Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you all again in another cryptocurrency video.